What's up, everyone? Should be a fun stream tonight. We've got to get the word out to the people. So I'll do that as we hang out. So tonight should be a fun stream. I plan on spending some time working on AI. So happy Halloween to all of you. And let's see, there we go. This should be fun. All right, so we'll see who pays attention. Most people don't know about it. Who pays attention? All right, and let's see who wants to join. Join the fun. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. Yo, Steve, what's going on? The power of Christ compels you. It should be fun. I got some candy, so we're gonna get a little bit of a sugar high, and we're gonna do some Neovim distro stuff. So we'll see who wants to join in. You're stuck on an airport. Damn. Well, then hang out with me. Let's do some Neovim AI stuff. How about that? I didn't quite promote this as well as I had hoped. So, what's up, Andres? You like my costume? We got some candy. We'll see if my Neovim title pulls in anybody who's bored. Where are you going, Steve? Anywhere interesting? Or are you coming from somewhere? I think I can get some spooky music going as well. We'll have a grand old time. And I recently got a teleprompter. So now I can look at you guys while we're doing this. Oh, SF, nice. Were you at a GitHub Universe? Next.js Conf? All the things were happening this week. I was a little jealous. A little bit of FOMO, I'll be honest. Do we need Halloween candy ASMR? Are you guys ASMR people? I got a green screen too, but my lighting isn't quite ready for this. I have like a lot more adjusting to do. But the stream should look a lot better the next time because I'll have a whole week to work on this. Work stuff, boo. I swore you would have done conference stuff. It's all right. All right, here we go. A little spooky season. I got me a spooky house. So for those that aren't familiar, if you want to, you can have totally isolated and separate versions of Neovim. And I think I might lean into this a little bit more in the future. But since I'm giving a talk at Neovimconf next month, shout out to Neovimconf, the 19th, I'll be talking about AI. So I think it would be fun to be able to let people run a script and be able to play with these AI features that I talk about. Oh, you like my background? Yeah, I got my little haunted house. And so I think it should be fun to make like an AI focused Vim config that people can download and use. So you see I have Kickstart. So we're just going to use that because it's definitely the simplest. Let's see, I want this command. All right. Yeah. So that's what we'll do. We will get clone this guy to NVim AI. How about that? And so what we'll probably do is just remove Git and initialize it and spooky. Yeah, let's see. We got can we get some spooky music going? Spooky lo-fi? Do you guys hear that? I'm about to blast you. What do we think? Too much? Not enough? Screen audio. I definitely see screen audio. I'll have to play around with this and figure out why. Yes, no? Nope. Bummer. Well, then I can lower this way down. Okay. So realistically, all that really matters to me is that we get watch this this is what I like about this tooling. So if I want to copy this guy over, I can name this guy Nvim AI, and if we cd into Nvim AI and dir env allow, we can tell Neovim that when we're in this place, we want. What's up, Ian? Ian's here. I got a Halloween costume on today. Oh, you can't see me, can you? You want to see me? Hey, we got some Halloween candy. We're gonna get a sugar high. You guys can see what it's like when I'm hyped up on sugar, and we're gonna spin up an AI Neovim. Ian's a scary guy. What can I say? Oh yeah, we'll be around for a while. This is my Halloween night, so I was not sure what to do, and I thought this would be a fun way to do it. So check this out. When I run Neovim, it will run the Kickstarter project. And so this is the Kickstarter project, right? So pretty cool. Neovim config. We will probably go back and forth with this stuff. I just need this guy. And I'm also realizing that the go to file, this stuff would be really helpful. So part of me wants to have this guy. Let's see, what do we want to do? I need to like init. You guys do not need to see that. All right. So I've got what? Color scheme. So we're not going to do this. We're going to do the capuchin. So we'll put that here. Oh. Priority high, color scheme. Shows up here. I guess we'll just do it like that. And let's just see if that plays nice. Capuchin. Capuchin priority color scheme. This should all be right. Oh, weird. Do I have to name it? I forget how this works. Name, that's right. So we're going to name it. I don't know if that will help any. Oh yeah, sure enough it does. And then the transparent stuff is important to me, so I'm just going to make sure it's there. Transparent background true. And that is on the options. So this is sort of the boring stuff, but we'll get it figured out. We'll end this. Cool. Hey, look at that. Cool. So that's just for my own preferences because I want the stream to look halfway decent and I like the background image. So that's 5 minutes. Flavor. Yes. I don't know if it's me. I think it's just Capuchin, right? Flavor. Well, flavor is what it is. So really what I care about is setting up AI. And so what we'll do is we've got Vim options. Where's our first actual require? Okay, so we set up Vim. So we could put it here. Right? And so with Copilot one's fairly straightforward. As I attempt to get this set up. And then there is some mapping that I added recently. So if we take a look, have I not added it yet? Copilot. Key maps, yeah. All right, so note Copilot. What we could do is simplify a whole lot of this, which I actually like their approach here. They have guides, they have all these sentences and things. So we're gonna add instructions here. So let's see, settings. I guess we will keep this all simple. Cool. Key maps options, Vim schedule, leader key. all this stuff will sort of start to pull apart. So Copilot setup. We don't need that. We don't need any of that. Get signs is great, but not necessary. Which key is very useful. And then this will be add AI bindings. This should be simple enough. Telescope, I don't really care about. What? But I guess for my go-to file, I'd like Smart Open. So maybe I want to include it as a dependency. And then Smart, I need to load the extension, config, load, setup. So we will do Smart Open. So I don't really care about FCF. The UI select is interesting. Do you guys know what that is? Have you used it before? FCF native goes away. Why does it do it that way? Yeah, you're right, Ian. I think TJ is really good at explaining this stuff. For those that aren't familiar, TJ is the one who kind of flagshipped this project called Kickstart.nvim, and it's like just like a single file. This one's 700 files, and it's all of the things you might need in order to start a project like this. So pretty sick, really, really easy to work with. And for me, I'm going to try to get rid of as much CRUD as I can and simplify it down. So like even UI select feels unnecessary here. And this guy is also unnecessary. Icons, I guess we'll keep. Smart Open. Here's our key maps. I'm not actually a fan of this style of doing it, so that's interesting that he does it this way. I like using keys personally, but I don't really care about any of this. In fact, we don't really want to set any key maps because it's not really relevant to this project. So, you know, if people want it, we can add it. And if we want some simple kind of thing to add, we could. All right, Ian, we'll see you around. I'll probably leave this alone. Part of me thinks that I could get away with, I don't have to like clean all this up. Part of me actually thinks, should I put the emphasis on just adding the plugins under the custom directory and allowing it to be a fork of this project? Yeah, I'm with you, Andres. The only thing is, there's going to be a few items like the telescope stuff that I got to put at the top. So I think I won't overdo stripping out stuff from this file. Probably not useful for my time today. We do want to add instructions. The order in which this stuff is called, excuse me, the order in which this stuff is called is important. But with Copilot, we can simplify this. Oh, what was that? Go to file not detected. All right, so my go to file shows up where? Here we go. So we should be able to add a command, right? This is a vim command. So that's here. I guess we could just put it up at the top somewhere. Did we define Copilot anywhere? Oh, it does want to show. Weird. It totally works. Okay, so there may be something to do with the loading strategy for the plugin. I'm not that worried about it. Not today. Hey, so we have Copilot. I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm getting used to this prompter. It's kind of different having this I have this new little tiny screen right in front of me, and when I'm looking at your comments, I can see you guys. Cool. So right. This is where that double bracket thing could come in handy. I haven't used this before. Does this not work? Oh, it's like this? Nice. So Copilot's like the most basic thing, and I've been using it more lately because I was getting really frustrated with the virtualized, not the virtualized, the comp completion. So like this guy down here, I really wasn't a fan of it showing up. It was like delayed, and when it showed up, it would go in front of all of the LSP completion items. And so it left me with I would hit enter because I wanted the LSP record, but then Copilot was creating its entry right as I did that. And so it's super pain in the ass. I got really frustrated with it. So I simplified this down and I'm using just the Vim plugin, which I think is working pretty well. And so what I did want to play around with a little bit more was the Avante.nvim. This one's really popular. I personally didn't love how it worked, but I'm open to messing with it a little bit tonight. And so this is, yep, this is it. So we're just going to copy this and we're going to give this guy a try today. So here's Avante. It uses all sorts of other plugins in order to work. And let's see. Avante ask, what can you do? It should, oh, it's pulling from Claude. Interesting. Did you guys see the new partnership that Claude is making with GitHub? I thought that was interesting. I can help modify the Neovim configuration file that's been shared. It appears to be configured based off Kickstarter.nvim with some AI-related plugins like Copilot and Avante already added. Look at this. So Avante, I forget the bindings. We can practice the bindings. I can also show off the things I have found to be the most useful, but I feel like what's most popular might be more helpful here. Dude, GitHub is, yeah, but GitHub's owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft has a huge stock in OpenAI, and they've got all sorts of other things going on. So yes, and right? Yes, and. But I like the integrations they've been making already. Lots of good stuff. So I want to like rewrite. Show sidebar. What is the command? Yeah. And I have Avante working on my machine with, on my config with pretty much all of these. So you just have to sort of decide which one you want when you're interacting with it. What is this? Custom prompting. I think that's worth talking about actually for my talk, because custom prompting is really where this shifts and it becomes a much more powerful tool because you, excuse me, you get to create, context basically to what it is that matters to you when you're working with these kinds of tools. So Avante ask, we can say write Kickstarter.nvim project that includes some default AI plugins to get started. So the way this one works is specifically you generate the response and then you accept it, right? And so the accepting part is bound by key binding. So you can say accept. So this is, what is this? Avante. Now I'm trying to remember. There's like a way that you interject the the diff, basically. Okay, here we go. So we can hit A. A will apply it. And then this is where it gets a little funky. So we've applied the diff, and then we want to choose theirs. Boom. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I've been using Copilot chat, and that one is a little bit more, I guess it's the same, it's just different bindings. And so we're showing off the basics here. GitHub Copilot supports multiple providers. And then the one that I think works really well is an underrated one, which we've talked about on stream before. And now I have to remember what it's called. It's not the Copilot one. Is it Gen? I don't think it's Gen. This is one of the OGs from what I remember. Yeah. This one is also pretty popular, but isn't the one I'm looking for. GP. I think this is the one I want. Yeah. Yeah, it's this one because it has like voice commands where you can speak to the editor and it'll change. So it does some pretty wild stuff. And we can have different endpoints. Oh, we need to copy to that. All right, so this guy gets a little bit more exciting. Avante. Cool. We don't want to return here. Yeah, so what I like about this one is you can like select text. We can switch between different models. So we could switch to like Llama, right? Or this is Llama 3.1. And oh, right, that's how it works. I do like Avante does the virtual text. So when you select things, you can do leader A E, right, to edit. And this would be simplify this down, more no yeeting. So you can rewrite text using that. However, I like, excuse me, what I'm liking is the ability to do the whisper. Where is it? Whisper. And we want to whisper rewrite. Make this sentence sound a little bit more professional, please. Let's see how well it actually does. Boom. Look at that. Oh, interesting. Olama. So at this point, the main question now is, how do I want to organize it in a way that you can use, or is it even worth it, chat? Maybe you guys could tell me. Do you think it's worth it that I include more than one option on things that do basically the same features? Should I simplify it down to like, these are the ones that I recommend? Try them out for yourself, see how you like it. Or should I have like, you can do chat with this tool, or you could do chat with that tool, or you could do chat with that tool, and you could play with all of them if you had it set up correctly? I'm curious what you think, because I've been leaning toward, I have a half-hour window for the conference talk, and I've been thinking about making the whole thing be a summary of all of the available tools and what I think their strengths and weaknesses are, and then a collection of tips about how to best use these tools no matter which one you pick. And I might even contextualize a bit of what's going on in the AI world for those that are less, involved in the AI news space. Talking about like, OpenAI got their first 1 million users, and Copilot was released, and Neovim, Copilot was released, and the life cycle of that stuff, I think, is what I was going to look at. Steve, you like the idea of comparing workflows? Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, and I can talk about it because I've used the plugins, right? I've used many of them now. The big selling point lately is like, which provider do you want? Because many of these plugins now can support many providers, and some of them are pigeonholed to one provider, like Copilot, right? There's almost a wish. I almost wish that I had more opportunities to experiment, but at the end of the day, I would like to work and be productive. So there's a struggle between, you know, swapping to a different AI tool only to take a lot more time to get through it and have to experiment. So that's the struggles that I've been dealing with in being thorough with this stuff. And then we can add a third item for, and look at this. You can autocomplete with Copilot in your lists. So I really like this, having Copilot here. And so some of these tools do a really good job at replacing what they have, and others are a little bit less obvious. Like you can see here, it added it, but this was what was selected. So I'm always a little bit thrown off by, oh, and even this guy has got like nested. We're going to say Neovim AI. Let's add a brain. Yeah, I'd say we should just add them all. And if there's some conflicts, we could deal with those conflicts. But so the next one that's most popular is LazyVim has a good configuration option for Copilot chat. And the full specs here. Copilot chat. And the way Copilot chat works, let's add that comma. Document binding. Oh, we went too far. Copilot chat, here we go. So Copilot chat, I don't need to overwrite these, although they're useful. Oh, 418. What did we do? keys should be fine. Config should be fine. What is going on? Why is it throwing me an error? Attempted to index global M. Okay. Yeah. So we need to make sure that whatever's in here is so simplified. Let's not run any options. What does Copilot chat actually want me to do? Maybe we should start there. Yeah, this one I really like, and I use it quite a bit now. So I guess we'll start with just this. What is happening? Oh, are we doing a return? Whoops. All right. Now, what is happening? GP in Vim, Copilot chat. We got one too many of these, don't we? All right. Cool. So this one, Copilot chat, we can show. I liked the settings that were there. Maybe we'll keep those options. Copilot chat. And then lazy had these things set to true. We're going to go ahead and set them today. Auto insert mode is fantastic, and show help is great for newcomers. Only for Mac OS and Linux. All right. So what I like about this one is it's a little bit different. You can select things, and then when you pull up Copilot chat, it will use the item that's selected. So if we do GS, it will give me a sense of what values are here. You can also view the prompt. So this is the built-in prompt that they use. So like, you are an AI programming assistant. You must respond with GitHub Copilot following the user's requirements to the letter, following the content policies. That's hilarious. If you're asked to generate content that is harmful or whatever, respond with, sorry, I can't do that. So this is just a good old standard prompt. Find relevant code in your query, purpose a fix for the test failure. And so tell me about the LSP setup in this file. Let's see. To provide information, you must do this. So see how this answer is sort of not super helpful. What I've noticed is Avante, tell me more about how the LSP was set up. This one, I believe, automatically looks at your file and nearby files and tells you a little bit about, it gives you context. Looking at the code, I can explain how the LSP is set up. The core LSP setup are these pieces. So you can see how Avante is just smarter. Here's a repo map. That's interesting. I haven't looked at that before. not supported for this language. Interesting. So if I was to go to a different project, could I see it a bit closer? I feel like Avante probably is the direction that I need to go for sort of the most robust solution, which was one of the main reasons that I came here today to mess around with this stuff a bit more. Let's see. We have window positioning, prefixing. Start on insert for that. Yes. Oh, auto jump is true. Interesting. So there must be some level of it directing the cursor. Right. So the trick about this is you can change the provider manually. Custom providers can also be supported. But the Avante crew have decided that they want to focus on using Claude because they think the quality of the output is best. Which, I get. It's a reasonable thing. And that's one of the limitations, right? With the Copilot chat, from what I remember, Copilot chat, it just uses Copilot. The thing that I would be interested in getting better with is this GP-NVim. Interesting. So this one works a bit different. So the real question is, I don't have any specific information. Which file are you referring to? Right. So contextually, it's a lot less smart. But I have already started working with embedding, and I feel like it's totally possible for a Neovim plugin, although I'm not sure if I'm the right person to make it. Could use a combination of the language server and possibly tree sitter. I feel like the language server might be enough. But if someone could make a plugin that allowed for the language server to basically go look at code automatically, like go to definition and that kind of thing. It's like, all right, if I'm changing this function, but inside of it, I'm referencing something else that's been imported, blah, blah, blah. I don't think there's any reason why you couldn't design it in a way that it reads through the language server and communicates with your code base to present the proper response. Now, the question I have is, what is Avante doing to create the context? And so what are they saying? You can do text embedding. This is just a conversation. I feel like they want O1 preview. Feature, edit multiple files. It's open. Let's see what people can talk about here. Oh, interesting. What about if open buffers were the context? Context-aware workspace. Tracking 122. Making the LLM aware of the entire code base. Perhaps using the repo info would be great. Adair's repo map. What is this? Flashbang. Building a better repository map with Tree Sitter. Yeah, so Tree Sitter was another idea I had because Tree Sitter does have some context to this stuff. I'm going to use GPT this whole friggin' chat. All right, so what does he want to say? GPT-4 makes great coding changes. Aider sends GPT-4 a repository map that includes the most important classes' functions, their call signatures to provide this context. The repository map is generated using Tree Sitter. Aider optimizes the repo map to include only the most relevant parts of the code base. So what is this Adair? So did the guys use Adair? A single module that could be used by other projects, mostly thinking of the ones that use for autocomplete. I would love if Avante built it. Then I could extract it to a standalone module or get around to building mine. Could be used here and in other places. Cool. I mean, that's an interesting idea for sure. Cloud engineer. Interactive command line that leverages the power of that. Right. I kind of want to save Adair though. Where does Adair live? GitHub? Oh, I already started. AI pair programming in the terminal. So this one is, yeah, this one's really popular and I haven't used it yet, but you can basically talk to it, tell it to do something, and it will make potentially multiple files, I think. So this might be really fun to actually play around with, to be like, hey, if you want to leave Neovim, you can do this. It's a bummer they don't have dark mode, huh? So Adair is something that I think is worth looking into. But this whole repository map, how does it work? Using the repo map to provide context. So it's something that gets generated via just scripting, huh? Excuse me. Find the code that needs to be changed, understand how the code relates to the rest of the code base, and then make the correct changes to accomplish the task. We're now using Tree Sitter to help solve the problem, but it's also an important foundation for future work on automatically finding all the code in which will need to be changed. Yeah, I would love to like refactor something, right? And say, hey, I want to go change this. And if it could go out and change all of the code based off of context, that's kind of what we all want, I think. So this is definitely something worth playing around with. Oh, and someone's already working on it. So this is create a repo map in NVim for use with LLM providing concise data for context window. Right. Well, good for you, man. So Mr. Loop. Very nice, Mr. Loop. We'll give you a follow. I kind of want like a embedded LLM LSP that you install with Mason, right? And it's its own LSP and it can do things based off of being an LSP. But I haven't tried to build or fork or mess with LSP tooling directly. So I don't know how much it takes to get into it. Yeah, so here we go. They got like running through nodes, splitting up source lines, generating output that's printable and easy to understand to the desired nodes. Nice. So this is cool, but then how do you use it, right? Well, I think once this stuff gets better, AI will be really, really good if it doesn't already feel good. We don't want that. We want to go back here. And so there's more to come for sure. This person had mentioned this is where we were earlier. That's fine. Oh, interesting. They have drop and add file commands in Adair. Oof. Adding files. So what do you say? Only add the files that need to be edited for your task. Right. So you can physically just say, I want that, and then you run the code in which you want. Huh. Cool. And there should be an architect feature, right? Nice. And then this could be fun to play with. We could just see what happens. And there's a bunch of people talking about it. Nice. Yeah, I feel like this would be a really fun project to play with next. And I personally am a fan of Olama. Nice. So you just call the one you want. 70 billion. I wish my computer can't handle that. Yeah. No, this is good. They've got voice to chat too. Nice. Browser, look at this. Someone created a browser version. That's cool. Yeah, this could be really fun. I feel like this is the one to play with next. But when it comes to this, I feel like the OG is like the straight up Copilot. Let's see. Yeah, look at all these. ChatGPT.nvim. This was a classic. This is like the first one I think I used. And it's got a lot of users. And it does all the same stuff. So I feel like, what do you think, chat? Do you want to have a version of a Neovim distro that has all of this figured out for you? Does this sound useful? Because part of me is thinking that I'll just explain this stuff, show it off, and then, let people go to each of these individual project pages and set it up for themselves with the instructions. I mean, if you're a Neovim person, you got to learn how to copy this guy, right? Or the lazy one and put it in your project. Because this guy also does code editing assistance, code completion. I liked the persona based conversations. So I do this with, it may be hard to see, but I do this with Raycasts, where I have these like experts, quality control, React expert, right? Neovim expert. And I can talk to my language models with, context given, persona based context. And it's really useful. My main question though is how many of these, let's see, Olama? Yeah. So some of these are still going to be limited to whichever language models they've offered. The actions were really great, but I feel like GP.nvim, he had designed something similar. I'm trying to remember what he called it though. There's agents, and these are the actual tooling, what providers can be used. And then what was it? Oh, context. Look at this. Custom instructions. Oh, I see. This is like project-wide context, which is useful and probably would be good to do. Yeah, I probably will add that. But there's actually some image stuff describing wanted images. When the generation is done, it opens a dialog for you to store the image. So kind of fun that you can do image generation with this guy. What did he call it though? Which key? Yeah, here we go. GP unit tests. So you can extend and override the plugin's functionality with your own by putting in config hooks. Hooks have access to everything and are automatically registered as commands. So you assign and define these functions, and then you can do things like this where you use a template and then you get the agent and then you run the prompt based off of all of those pieces. The code review one, translator, which one? Some of these are really useful, and I've been using them to some extent already. And I was thinking of like a convert to TypeScript, right? You could take JavaScript and convert it. You could say convert to JSON. There's all sorts of things you could do over time. And so I've been meaning to revisit this. We've spent time with this plugin on stream before. If you go back to my other AI Neovim live streams. So Steve, so far it's not a lot. I mean, I already have one that works, but it works with specific plugins right now, right? So part of me thinks that like we could add all of them. And the way that I saw it is like the chat could be like, we could use the space key, the leader key to say like space A, or maybe space C for chat. So you can say space C for chat. And then the Copilot could be under, a nested leader key. And so like you could use which key to guide you toward exploring each option, I guess. But the idea of like normalizing all of the plugins to use the same bindings feels like too much, because once you decide on the one you want, you sort of want to lean into it and like use it the way that the creators designed it. At least that's my opinion. And so you wouldn't want to lean so far away from it that it becomes, indistinguishable from what it originally was designed to be. And so I really feel like this GP.nvim is the most underrated one that I like the most personally. But Avante is really good at, this one's really good at context. Oh, and look at this. There is local LLMs. Interesting. I feel like that's a lot just to do this. So that's what? That's here. Custom parsers. So let's see what that feels like. So Avante options. Is this something you can just generally override? Vendors. Okay. Add support for custom providers. You can add the spec onto this. Interesting. There's a lot to this, isn't it? And everyone seems to design it differently, which, comes with the territory, I guess. And with any sort of open source world, you end up with a lot of similar projects that do the same thing. Part of me really wishes that more energy was spent bringing people together with these efforts, but at the same time, you know, diversity, creates more, I guess, opportunity for experimentation, and adoption can shift. And if too many people are all dependent on one thing, it's harder to make changes to that thing. So it's definitely interesting. Oh, look at that perplexity. That's cool. Perplexity. That would be fun. So perplexity, for those that don't know, is like a AI driven search engine. And it's what I've been using a lot as my daily driver. I think it's pretty great. Grok, of course. Grok is a very popular choice for running language models like the 7DB Versatile. Yeah. So I think I'll just focus on simplifying down what I'm doing, and I guess sending people to repos is going to be the best way for them to interact with these tools personally. But Steve, I like what you were saying. I think being able to tell people what I've learned about the pros and cons of each, and what I like about things and what I don't like about things, should give people a sort of a landscape of what's going on in this space right now. So I think that's what I'll do. I think I'm gonna go about 90 minutes today. What has been just over an hour. Uh, this is super fun. I feel like Ian's thing's been up for a while, hasn't it? We can close that. Open all of the plugins, huh? We could do some sort of mass open. That would be hilarious. Um, but no, that's it. That's my little stream for tonight. Playing around with Neovim. I thought this was fun. Um, yeah, it should be interesting to play around with this a little bit more. I may not decide to keep the Neovim distro. I don't know if that will serve me perfectly well, but I'm excited for the talk. Thanks, Steve. It'll be coming in the next few weeks. I got to work on it, and this was fun. We'll probably get back to development next week. And if you're not already, come join the Discord server. Go to my website, joshmedeski.com. and you'll find all the links there. And happy Halloween. I hope you guys have a good night. See ya.